And so tonight, I know that a lot of you all have just received the Champagne Diet book. Has anyone read it from beginning to end already? I know like some of us might have had the book longer than others. It is a very easy read. I absolutely love it. I've probably read it a couple times now. But in the beginning of the book, if you haven't started reading it already, it really is. It's one of those books, if you just hear the title, you're just like, the Champagne Diet, what kind of hokey diet is this about? But it's really not about a diet at all. It's about learning to love yourself enough to take care of yourself and treat it the way it deserves to be treated, but also allowing yourself to enjoy the things that you enjoy. And there's a quote that in the beginning of the book that that Karis uses, and she puts, "Hear me out, ladies, diets do not work. There's no amount of points, frozen dinners, calorie counting methods, fitness apps, or fat-free cookies in the world that will make you a healthy person." Why? Because diets don't deal with your emotions. And this is one of the reasons why I chose this book, because I believe as women with PCOS, our journey is much more emotional than it is physical. I think for the average person it is, even if they might not want to admit it, but I think with PCOS, even more so, because we're dealing with all the side effects and symptoms that come with PCOS. And not only that, when we're busting our ass working out and trying to eat healthy, and we may say if we were doing it with our spouse or a loved one or a friend, if they did the same exact plan that we did, the results are going to come 5 times faster than mine. Case in point. So last year, I did the Ultimate Reset, which is like a 3-week, basically it's like a cleanse that you can do. And it's a vegan meal plan. They don't recommend any like physical activity really besides like walking, light stuff, yoga. My husband ate 3 times the amount I did, and I did all the work with like the food and all that. So I'm not one that actually putting in a lot of the work. And he ate like 3 times as much as I did. The guy lost 19 pounds in 21 days. He didn't have 19 pounds to lose. Me, on the other hand, I still weighed more than he did, and I only lost 9 pounds. I mean, I was frustrated because not only did this kid whose sugar is his favorite love language and food, I'm the one that, struggling with just losing any weight at all. And so we have to kind of keep it in perspective that even as women with PCOS, we can't compare journeys. You can't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. And also realize that, women with PCOS, we're going to manifest our symptoms in different ways. Some women may struggle with infertility and may never be able to have a baby. Then you may have one that can have 5 babies, but they're bald, or they may have facial hair. And so we have to realize our struggles are just as important or just as difficult for us as someone else's struggle to them. They matter. So don't ever feel like the struggle that you're having right now is insignificant compared to someone else's because, it doesn't make sense. Like, because even if you're like, well, I feel really self-conscious because I have facial hair, but then you hear someone's story about miscarriage. Well, I'm afraid to share because I feel like I'm being insensitive because this person just had a miscarriage. No, that's still your struggle. So you need to own it. So anyway, so this is why I kind of getting back on the course, this is why I do this book, because I want us to focus more on training our minds emotionally and that training that goes on, because we're going to focus on our bodies. We're going to focus on our nutrition. But a lot of times the reasons why we get back in those cycles is because we don't train our minds. And I feel like that's the biggest muscle in our body. I know our biggest organs are skin. What's our biggest muscle? Is it our brain? Am I like... Anyway, it's the smartest one, right? Or at least we're going to pretend. So in the book, she asked for you to write down 3 things that immediately come to mind when you think about your experiences with dieting and weight loss. So a lot of you, if you did this exercise, and you are more than welcome to share, you don't have to, what are some of your experiences with diet and exercise and weight loss? Mine is like my experiences in the past have been a lot of frozen meals, counting. When I did Weight Watchers, I had to count numbers. And then I would always try to finagle the system and see how I could get around it and be able to fudge it as much as possible, but still be within the limits. Does that make sense? I've always been one of those. I will do as much or as little as possible to still get that A or still pass that class. And unfortunately, I still find myself like that sometimes where, instead of doing those little consistently habits every single day, I'm like, oh, I'll work really hard this weekend. I'll work really hard Monday through Wednesday. And then hopefully that'll make up for the weekend. Those habits have still continued because I haven't made a priority to work on them. So do any of y'all mind to share, what are some things that come to mind when you think about dieting and weight loss, just in general from your history, from your past? Any? Is it happy moments? Like, do you get excited thinking about it? Or you're just kind of like, we don't want to talk about that.
Diets have been horrible. Like they wreck you, like emotionally, mentally, because you always feel like, well, what if I do this and I fail? Mm-hmm. And that's your biggest fear. It's like, I'm going to try this, but I feel like I'm going to fail because I'm always hungry during the diet. It's like the moment you say, I'm on a diet, you're like, I'm hungry. Oh my God, I want every carb that I can find.
You instantly think about the things that you're not supposed to have. And yeah, like you do. You think you're hungry. You think about how deprived you are, and you think about how much life sucks and everybody should die, we think about the things that we can't have versus the things that we can have. Anybody else?
For me, it's been, it's trying to work out. I've never been an athlete. I've never been one to do much more than sit on the couch and watch TV or movies or anything like that. So I'll get, like that treadmill or, one of the big balls or videos or join a gym or whatever. And I'll stick with it for about a month and then find an excuse, get sick, whatever, and then just kind of quit. So I've had all sorts of fitness gadgets lying around the house and just fall off once and then just kind of take months to get back on. So it's a lot of find that gadget, find that easy way, that next, whatever's gonna magic pill or whatever.
Yeah, and going off of that a little bit, a lot of the times people are like, I have failed so much in the past. I'm not going to do this, or I don't want to do this next plan because I know I'm already going to fail and I'm just going to waste my money. One, I can say you can never be what you can't see. So if you can never see yourself being successful, do you think you ever will be successful? No. Because you're not going to see it. So therefore, you're not going to do the steps it's going to take for you to be successful. And that's kind of why I love doing these chats, is because we're going to work through this month on helping you to break those cycles of where you're self-sabotaging, to where hopefully you can get to a point where you do see yourself being successful. You may not see it now. You may not feel it being possible now. And you may still feel like there's a small part of you that like, oh, I might give us a month, but then after that, I'm going to be done. No, because if you see yourself in that situation, more likely than not, you're going to end up that way. So even like I was talking to someone earlier today, I was like, even if you have to sometimes pretend you're somebody else, like envision yourself of somebody's life that you want to replicate. Like it's like maybe somebody who loves working out or somebody who loves just being healthy and they're happy and they're strong. All right, well, just close your eyes and be like, all right, I want to be like that. So what do they do? What is it that they do to get there? Okay, well, I'm going to start implementing those things every single day. They don't have to be huge steps. They can be simple steps. A 30-minute dance workout video. It could be, trying to slowly cut out soda. It could be slowly trying to up to, your intake of water. It doesn't have to be a quick fix, like where like you change completely overnight. Because I will say from when I first started getting healthy, that was probably about maybe 7 years ago. And I'm now to the point where I am. But it's taken me 7 years to get here, and with a lot of failure along the way. But in at least the last 3 years, I'm determined to fail forward. I'm at least determined to learn from my mistakes and do my best to try to get up and at least get a little bit closer to the finish line. And going on to the expensive stuff, the most expensive thing that you're going to invest in is the thing that you're not going to use, or it's that you don't work, and it's not going to work unless you work it. So, you all have invested your money in Beachbody On Demand and Shakeology and the Portion Fix Meal Plan. If you don't work it, it's not going to work for you. So at the end of this month, if you say, well, it didn't work for me, well, then I'll be like, well, how much did you work it? Like, how much effort did you truly put into actually, finding what, you're supposed to be eating every day? And if you need help with that, there's no excuse for you not to, because I'm here and that's what I'm here for. My goals are to help you to reach yours. So you doing your best to stick to it. And I know it's hard because like I've gone from eating disorder to eating disorder. It's hard for me to still get all my food in every day. It really is. And I have people messaging me like, did you get your containers in? And I'm like, shut up, leave me alone. But it's progress. It's about making that intentional effort to reach your goals, even if your goal is to get in all your containers or not to go above your containers. It's those consistent daily tasks are going to what really, truly, those should be the goals that we're working toward. Because those are going to what create confidence within yourself, not necessarily a number on the scale. So I want you to know that if you do need help with the portion fix, if you do need help with something, that's what I'm here for. And I know, Keisha, you just started, so you don't have a success partner yet, but you have a success partner as well. And interesting enough, I would recommend that you don't just tag them, but add them as a friend on Facebook. Maybe try to set up a time where you all can get on a weekly video chat or a weekly call, like, hey girl, what's up? Like, how you doing? Like, how can I help you? Because I started my first program 3 years ago with Focus T25. And there was a lady in that group who I didn't know. She was probably 40. She's 51 now. So she was like 48. So completely different lifestyles. She was making upper six figures in corporate America in New York, going to all these like MTV Music Video Awards. I'm a farm girl, like born and raised in Kentucky. My mom still says Warsh. My parents live in a holler on a 200-acre farm. Completely different lifestyles. That woman's become my best friend because we were success partners. We still have a weekly call to this day, every single week. We have video chat. She messaged me. She already messaged me 3 times since we've been on this darn call. And I'm like, woman, go to bed. So, reach out. This is about building relationships that are going to last, that are going to help keep you accountable. Surround yourself with people who you want to be more like, who, if you feel like, I'm going to fake it till I make it. Well, girl, fake it till you make it. Fake yourself around, put yourself in a group of women who want to be healthier and stronger. And then you're going to, eventually start imitating them. And then you're going to be more like them. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Anyway, so now she wanted you to write down how you'd feel if you never had to think about your weight again. So think about that. What are the first thoughts that come to your mind if you never had to think about your weight again? If I told you, throw away your scale and to never think about it again. I don't know about y'all, that scares the shit out of me. To be honest, because I do, and I try to practice what I preach, and a lot of times like, oh, I want to be more like you. I'm like, girl, I said that today because I was preaching to myself. It's like, because I have to remind myself all the time these things. Like, I just don't wake up and want to work out. I don't wake up and just, want to eat some vegetables. It's a choice. It's a decision. And I have to decide to daily remind myself that the scale does not define me. It is just a measure of gravitational pull. The scale does not tell me how beautiful I am, how smart I am, how good I look, like how good of a cook or a mom or a wife I am. It doesn't determine any of those things. It's just the measure of your gravitational pull. So what would be your initial reaction if someone came into your house, took out your scale, and be like, you're never going to see that thing again?
I'd be ecstatic. I'd be like, oh, you mean I don't ever have to weigh myself and like try to reach that goal again?
Mm-hmm. I want to truly believe I would feel that way, but then inside of me, I know, like, I've been ingrained about numbers and numbers that I'm supposed to be within for BMI and for what the doctor expects. So it's like, so it's one of those things, I still struggle with, but I truly believe that when we are reaching for goals, yes, it's totally okay to have a goal loss weight or whatever, of what you would want to lose for every month. But that should not be your main goal. When we set goals in the group, I like you to usually have, okay, we got about 10 minutes left. I would like you to usually have like a sleep goal with how many hours you're trying to get to sleep a night, a water goal of how many ounces of water you like to be getting, and then also like your goal with your portion fix. Basically, that's kind of a given that you're trying to stay on the meal plan, and then also a goal of how many days you want to work out a week. And for each person, your goals are going to be different. But I think if you set goals to things that you can control, because as women with PCOS on top of it, we cannot control what that scale says back at us. No matter how much I scream at it, or I threaten to throw it out, or I threaten to burn it or anything, it's not going to change based on my actions of doing those things. But I can control how much water I drink every day. I can control what I put in my mouth. I can control working out every day. So if you try to control the controllable, and I know all y'all women are control freaks. If you're like me, you like to have control. So I want to challenge you, control the things you can control. You can't control your man. You can't control your kids. And you can't control the weather, but you can control what you do with your life. And you have the power to change the ending of your story right now. Your story does not have to end the way it is right now. You have the power to change it and say, this is not how it's going to end. I have the choice to rewrite it. So I want all of you all to walk away from this thinking at least, all right, what are my 3 goals for this week? Or what are my 4 goals? And they need to be non-scale. So basically a water goal, a sleep goal, nutrition. I don't know if any of y'all are doing keto in here or not. Sometimes I get some of y'all mixed up, so I have to go back and refresh. But whether you're doing keto or portion fix, and then also your workouts. And I want you to post them in the group and tag your success partner and say, these are my goals. Can you all do that? Because those are the things you can control. And that's something you can feel proud of. Because at the end of the day, you're like, wow, all right, I did. Check, check, check. You know that you're making those consistent daily habits to get you to where you want to be. So anyways, and so another thing she says, hold those last 3 feelings. So it's basically kind of like your feelings if you never had to think about your weight again. She said, and focus them as you read this book. They're going to be our guiding star. This book will change the way you view your weight and yourself forever. You will walk away feeling empowered, inspired, and downright sexy, and probably really in love with champagne. You will learn how to celebrate yourself and your body, and you will learn to make your health a priority always. And most importantly, you will learn to love yourself exactly as you are. That gives me goosebumps every time I read it. And then chapter 1, that's just the preface. Preface? What is there? Is it preface? Preface? You're the teacher. Okay. And then chapter 1 goes into basically, are you worth it? Which I love talking about worth, because we're all worth it exactly where we are. And so maybe later on this week, I'll hop on and do a live kind of my takeaways from chapter 1. There's really no speed that you need to go through this book. It's a very easy read. You can easily get it done before the month's even halfway up if you wanted to. But you pace yourself. This is not a competition to see who can get it done the fastest or whatever. But I want you to truly, you're going to get out of this group. You're going to get out of this book what you put into it. I really want to encourage you all to do those non-scale goals for this week. And another thing that I wanted to point out. So I also posted last night a weekly posting guide, and that is more so for the ones who, because I've chatted with a lot of you all on how to naturally share your journey with your family and friends on your Facebook or your Instagram, on how to share your journey in order maybe to inspire them to join you with Beachbody, or to join you in either this academy or the Diamond Academy, which is the general one. And so those are things that you can do every day on your personal wall, or you can do it in this group too. But those are more so on your personal wall to where you can gradually, naturally share your journey. It doesn't have to be salesy. If you follow me, I'm sure you all have, because that's why you're in a group. I'm not a big salesy person. I just share what we do. I share my journey, and it's up to you to do it or not. There's no sales gimmicks or anything. I do a lot of giveaways and freebies because I'm a gift giver. That's just one of my love languages. I was talking about therapy last week with, in my marriage counseling with my husband. I'm a gift giver. We're talking about the love languages. And so there's something I like to do. But I'm not one of those where I'm posting, prices everywhere and stuff. And I don't expect you to do that either. If you're wanting to earn money to pay for your Shakeology, or if you are wanting to have a side gig, it's not about that at all. It's basically you being authentically you sharing your journey, you being open and honest and, authentic, and seeing where it takes you. Because I never would have thought that I'd be where I am 3 years later. And how I did it was basically posting every single day, those small, consistent behaviors, and I was talking about earlier. And then gradually over time, I've got a network of almost 30,000 people. And when I first started, I had maybe 300 friends. I'm one of the most introverted people you would ever meet. In real life, you'd be like, she's so awkward. I don't want to be her friend. But it's true. And so, it can work for anybody. But that's what that post is. If that's not anything you're interested in, just ignore it. I just kind of wanted to clear that up. So I don't want to keep this too long, so I want to respect your all's time, and where we did move it back a little bit later for the next few weeks at least. Do you have any questions for me, questions for anybody else in the group, or any comments, since we've got a couple minutes left?
The only thing I was going to say was, whenever she was talking about if you didn't have to think about your weight anymore, I took it as already being at goal, or wherever you as far as your health and fitness goals are, already being there. And if you never had to think about it, to me, I was thinking, I wrote down happy and less stressed and that type of thing, because I've made those habits and behaviors, I've made them habits. I was kind of thinking into the future. So, having, exercise be more of just a wake up and do it sort of thing, kind of like brushing your teeth, or, putting your meals together. And I just thought of it as, okay, now these things are habits and I don't have to work at making them habits. So I thought, less stressed, more happy, that type of thing is kind of where I took accomplished is how I would feel. That's kind of where I took that, that question from the book from.
And yeah. I think that's great. We're all going to take different things from the book. And I do think I would do all those things too. If I really think about it, I think my initial reaction would be oh my gosh, no. But then I think once I settled into it, I think it would be nice to have that burden that I choose to carry released from me. Not released from me if I chose to release it. And that's one of the reasons why it is more emotional, because I have to make that choice to release that chain I'm holding on to. Does that make sense? I'm choosing to. No one's forcing me to hold on to that chain of feeling, chained down to the scale, you know, but if I let it go, I would feel less stress. I would feel, you know, all the things that you mentioned. And that would be awesome. And I think that, you know, that as we go on in our journey, I hope that we all get closer to that point. And I do think that there are a lot of points, especially with the program that I'm doing right now, because I haven't really seen much weight loss. I've seen more non-skill victories than I have in a long time. So I have to cling onto those. I have to cling onto those, because if I don't, if I get wrapped up in the scale or anything else, I want to quit, because I put in a lot of work. But I have to think, like, now I can do so many push-ups. Now I can do this. I couldn't do this before. And be proud of myself, you know, and forget the scale. You know, it's there because so I can do before and after for the sake of my business. But I don't look at it. I put it in the closet and I can't look at it, because if not, I'll step on it every single day. I'm one of those people. So, but anyway, I will let you all go because it's really early in Italy and it's really late everywhere else. But thank you all so much for hopping on tonight. I'm super excited for you all to be a part of the Academy this month. And I look forward to seeing your all swelfies and